I forgot that's there. Let's get rid of that image. There we go. That's better. You entirely forgot you opened the stream. Surprise. Hello. I hope. usually I do my hello, how is everyone, welcome in type stuff. But I forgot I had the image of Zhongli. I think that's it. On the screen. So I apologize. I may have been a little bit loud. I'm sorry. I hope you weren't scared too badly. Horror movie vibe to just hear your computer start laughing unprompted. I've been told I have a very loud laugh at times. Like, you'll be normal, but at times I can be quite loud when I'm with friends and stuff, and I'm kind of just chatting away. Sometimes I'll like say things loudly, and they'll like my friends will grab me like, "Shut up, shush." So it's quite fun. It's quite fun to just mess with them like that. But yeah, welcome in everyone. Hang on a moment. There's something missing on screen. It's me. Wait, there's something else missing on screen. And this isn't what I planned. No. There we go. That's better. That's better. I want this. How is everyone? I hope your late, well, or middle of the week is going well. Yeah. Middle of the week. I had a pretty busy day, I must say. Pretty busy day. Pretty busy bee. But I had singing today, so that was a lot of fun. Although I did a small bit of singing, but I sort of like I've been trying to. It's kind of hard. I guess it's like coming back from Christmas. I just did not give a lot of thought into what I was going to be practicing or singing. It's been so long. Karaoke stream when I'm actually so annoyed at myself that I thought I'd have more free time over like the Christmas period, but like the house was just so busy and I was doing stuff. And I never got a chance to do a Christmas karaoke. So maybe we'll do a karaoke and we'll do a couple of Christmas songs. We'll do like 5 or 6 Christmas songs. And then, I don't know, I'll do like a little bit. But I don't know when. It's kind of hard because you're trying to, I just am a busy person. I suppose. These days anyway. I constantly have to be on top of stuff. And kind of like just to be where I want, I need to be busy. But I use this time. This is going to be kind of similar enough in terms of length to yesterday. It's going to be about 2 hours of a stream. Just to... what I can do is I'll probably... You could hear how tired I am. I walked quite a bit today, actually. How many... What steps? 16,000 steps. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. That gets the heart going. Not all at once though. Not all at once. Although I have done that before. Just kind of throughout the day. I like going for walks during lunch. I don't know about you guys, but like going for walks during lunch kind of helps me clear my mind. Although sometimes, especially if I don't get enough sleep, sometimes I'll finish my walk and lunch. I'll get back to work. I'll be sitting there and I'll just be like. Yeah. I won't make that noise, but I will be falling asleep, and I'm like hoping no one sees. A teacher such as yourself, Lancelot, could never get to fall asleep, I don't think. I think even if you were like slowly falling asleep, you just get woken up almost immediately. You wish. Just dealing with children all the time. Ugh. But yeah, it was a decent day. It was fun getting back to singing. It's always like kind of the bright spot in the middle of the week for me. It's kind of that thing that kind of leaves me know, okay. I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm just not taking enough breaths in. You fell asleep on the couch today after you got home. I've done that quite a few times. I actually did that Monday. I did that Monday because I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So I came in and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. And then I sat down. And then I lied down. And then I went... Which is, I think, how I sleep. Or maybe I do the... Me. I'm not too sure. I should do a sleep stream sometime. I'll put like the ASMR next to me in my bed and I'll fall asleep. My bed of like perfectly magical warm snow. It doesn't make any sense, just go with it. And then I'll fall asleep next to it and you guys can hear me ramble and talk in my sleep. There he is. Who, little Ruru? Yeah, you excited to see little Ruru over there, comfy by the fire? Hello, son Albionus. Warm snow, with that cloak, anything is warm. That's true. But this is magical snow, imbued by me. I imbued it with warmth. You know, I was thinking, do you guys know what I mean if I talked about a jacuzzi suit? Did you guys see that episode of The Simpsons where I think it's Milhouse's mother. What's her name? I can't remember. She gets like this jacuzzi suit, which is literally just a suit of water. Like it just covers her body. I guess she sits into it. Like she puts it on and it fills up with water and keeps it warm. And it's like I've often thought like that would be so good. That would be like one of the nicest things. Luan von Houten. Van Houten. Ah, I see. Yes, actually. You Google the name, but you do remember the suit. I think I would love one of those. And like, I know people are saying it's impractical. No. It's very impractical, but I want one. But like, I don't even think it needs to be something that like you put on. I feel like it could be something that just kind of like goes around your body, you know? You have a cloak yourself. You can't really say you made it because it's a rectangle. Well, the best of clothes tends to just be very big pieces of cloth shaped into nice shapes. Like a hot water sleeping bag. Yeah, exactly. Now, the thing is that it would probably kill people. Both electrically and through fires, because like, there's water being heated. There has to be some sort of heat source. Something would go wrong. And you're just sitting there. Sacrifices must be made. I agree. I think sacrifices must be made. Sacrifices must be made so that I can be nice and warm in my jacuzzi suit. I don't even think you need like hers had a lot of water in it, if I remember correctly. I remember it being like just a big thing. I think you don't need that much. I don't think you need that much. I think you could have like just a small bit of water and then just the insulation of the water and then the air. And that's why I think you should have something that you're not encased in water. You're not encased in water. You're just surrounded by it through the suit. And then there's like the air trapped against your skin, and then there's the suit itself, and then the water insulating you. Then it would be warm. And then it's more like a hot water bottle. Again, it would probably very easily break. Like, my nails right now, I need to cut my nails, I must say. I need to cut my nails. They're getting a tiny bit long. Is there anyone that's getting too long? Not really. Nothing's getting too long. They're just starting to get there. They're just starting. Like, if it goes for too longer now, it'll be bad. You wore your character's tunic and cloak a lot during last year's summer. Were you walking about, son? Were you walking in the public square? Were you talking about how you need to bring back Rome? Were you talking about how you need to bring back Rome? I love how I was able to do really well on a bunch of tongue twisters. On a load of tongue twisters, and then I stumble over bring back Rome. Did Tuatha do sacrifices? I actually don't know. I can't remember historically, or well, I guess mythologically and historically, of course. If they did, I feel like probably here in chilly England, a linen tunic and short cloak was a bit too cold to wear during the winter. Hello, what's up? Welcome in, welcome in. Well, you need a thicker cloak, son. You need like a big one. Surely the Romans had like winter clothing. And hello, Danaos. Welcome in, welcome in. It's nice to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope you've been having a nice one over the last couple of weeks. You should make another one, but made out of heavier wool. I was just saying that. Much larger, yeah. You know what, son? You should make a blanket. That would be really easy. A big, heavy blanket. I think that would be pretty easy. Followage, 10 months, 15 days, and 22 hours. It doesn't break it down into minutes and seconds. Followage, you're useless. Stream elements, literally the worst thing. It doesn't even tell me to the second how long Danaos has been following me. Very poor. Very disappointed, I must say. But welcome in. It's nice to have you. It's nice to see you. I hope life's been treating you well recently. Ugh. I was a good boy. Instead of having some chocolate biscuits with my tea today, I had Lindahl's lemon cheesecake kvarg, which is just a kind of yogurt. I think it's something specific, but it's just a kind of yogurt, and it has a lot of protein. It's actually really good. Like, it's kind of crazy how good it is. It's 92 calories per portion, of which 18 grams is protein. It's really impressive. It's tasty too. Although the lemon cheesecake one is kind of like pretty good. There used to be this banana offie one that also had 18 grams of protein. The other flavors typically have 15. I don't know why, but the banana offie one's never there. I really liked the banana offie one. Ban stream elements for inadequate information. I think I should. Generally, yes. How about you? How's Ireland? Ireland's doing okay. It was quite wintry and cold a little while back. There was even snow around the place. It was nice and snowy, and it was pretty, and like proper blanketing the country in places. And some places got like up to a foot, and like even more. Like there were some images of people getting stuck in their houses. Now I will say, alongside that, there was also many people without electricity, without water, without many appliances that are kind of important, which was unfortunate. Classic Celtic scenery. Not in Ireland. I guess up the north. In the north of Ireland, they get more snow typically, but kind of in the Midlands and down the south, it's a little bit more rarer. Especially in the south, I believe. Especially in the south, they don't really get much snow down there. You had snow for 2 hours before it got washed away. Aw, what's up? I'm sorry. We had snow, but it didn't land. It didn't really land. Unfortunately, it had rained like just beforehand, and I think like it could have stayed. It could have stuck. The snow could have stuck, but that would have required it to stop snowing for a little bit, to freeze. And then the snow would have like ice to land on. Here in Athens, it snows every 8 years. Snow that lands. Oh! Yeah, I vaguely remember that you're Greek, I think. That's really cool. I hope you get to go visit all the cool ancient Greek stuff around you. I would definitely be going. Imagine being like a Greek child, like a Greek teenager, and you're just like skulking around ancient monuments, finding like broken spears. Was I really lucky if the 2 hour snow was from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m.? Oh no. Oh no, what's up? You went to ancient Greek ruins in a Google Street View. That's not the same, son. That's not the same. Go to Athens. Go travel. You were more distracted by the tourist shops and graffiti? Son, you're not even there. You're not even there and you're getting distracted. I imagine it is insane, though, the amount of stuff they're trying to sell you things. I'm sure some of them are very happy with it. They make a nice bit of money. You will visit everything besides Greek monuments in Turkey. You don't feel comfortable to travel there with safety and ease without being constantly worried about anything. That's fair. That's fair. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension in those regions, especially between. You don't know what could happen. And it's smart to be safe. It's smart to be safe. I'd love to travel to Greece, though. I haven't been there before. I haven't been. I'd like to travel down there and see the monuments and things and the ruins. It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. They would have signs written in English, but with Greek characters. Thank you, computer_racer, for the follow. Welcome in. It's nice to see you. Or, it's nice to meet you, because you followed me. It's nice to see you. I've been watching you in other Twitch streams, you see. And now you are here. Subliminally... I was using other accounts to subliminally make you come to my stream. It just snap cuts to those other accounts just spamming my channel name. That's my level of sophistication when it comes to advertising. Look at this Greek stuff. That is disgusting, son. Please do not post like that again. That is actually horrible looking. It just does not look... English and Greek looks strange. You like my model? Thank you, Racer. Thank you. My mama did a wonderful job, and my papa did a great job too, making me nice and smooth. Moving. Hello, Tuppo. Hydrate, redeem. Thank you. Where's my bottle of water? Oh, it's over there. There we go. South Italy, Magna Graecia, for example, or the Balkans, the Middle East. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. I'm still after dinner. It's very easy for a Greek to travel in search of antiquities. I remember one time I was traveling around Ireland, and we went to where Newgrange was. But it was like midnight, basically. It was like 11 p.m. or something. And we kind of just walked through like the entrance place. Like there's a big like queue, obviously, for like people who are going to go see it. And we stopped right at where like there was just barriers and doors and like an elevator that took you down. And we could see Newgrange, and we were just looking at it, and there was a temptation to climb over and go walk in, but then we were like, no, hang on, there are cameras everywhere. They are 100% watching us with their finger on the button to send the army in after us. That's not a good idea. Of course, they're keeping me from my like legit heritage. I own that I don't own that monument. That monument has been taken by hundreds of people. What were you doing? We were just... Oh, no, not Stonehenge. Newgrange. You dummy. You were resting, but there was a daycare reading stream you needed to attend. Man, that's crazy. I'm also doing a daycare reading stream. That's crazy that another guy is doing that, or maybe it's a girl. That's sexist, Ruadh. Woman or not, I will beat them up so I can be the only daycare reading stream. But they're still stones, right? Sort of, I guess, like it's a very different thing. There is some stones that make, and this window that makes this really cool thing every winter solstice. Well, it used to be back then, it was perfect in terms of like the light, but now it's kind of offset due to the passage of time. Like 4,000, 5,000 years or something. Oh wait, hang on. I had the hydrate redeem. I never actually drank. Stonehenge is a cross-dimensional gateway. Which dimension, though? So is so is pretty much every single like drumlin in Ireland and every single Neolithic tomb. They're all just passageways into the underworld. Who knows? But yeah, I think I'm going to get into the reading there now, so we can get nice and cozy. I'm going to leave that comment, the auto-modded son. I'm going to leave that, the auto-modded. Because I don't want that. I don't want people to see that. You're getting bonked. You're getting bonked right now. It's proof of a very advanced Neolithic culture in the British Isles, possibly pre-Indo-European. I think so. I think would they have been the? No, I may be very wrong because I'm not exactly a scholar when it comes to these things. But like Bellbeaker, were they the Bellbeakers, or is that before then? Bedtime for you, you're afraid? It's so early. It's only like 10:30. You hope the stream goes well. How old is Stonehenge? Isn't it like you gotta teach the kids? No. You gotta stay here. You gotta like fuck them kids. They don't matter. Oh, Little Axum, thank you for joining, for the follow. It's nice to meet you. Let's look up how old Stonehenge is. 1600 BC. That's pretty good. 1600 BC. I mean, Newgrange is like 3000 BC, but like who's measuring? Who's measuring? Modern historians. You gotta do what? No, what's up? Bad, bold. Hang on. I need to physically bonk WhatsApp right now. Bonk. Wait, no. At WhatsApp. Bonk. Where's my bonk emote? Get his ass. Bonk. Wait. Oh. Eh? What did I just do? Oh no, son! Oh no, son! Oh no! So sorry, son! No! I feel so bad. How do I untime out? Can you untime out? You can! At son. Oh no, son, I'm so sorry. I took it off. You can talk now. No. I like to imagine son was just... You're coming back from the dead, from your 10-minute ban. No, don't poke me in the face while I'm mourning having killed my friend and then reviving him. No, son. I was clicking on... I think I was clicking on my emote. And then I hit... I hit enter, but I accidentally, like, it made the emote box disappear, and then he got clicked. Thank you, Danios, for the headbutt. Very appreciated. And hello, Fox. How you doing? It's nice to see you. And hello, Billy, too. Billy? Oh, Billy, it's snowing. I'm gonna get cold. Hold on, you're making an audio recording of this. Are you gonna? I'll listen to it after stream. I feel like my voice went really high there. That's what happens when you're doing some singing training and you did a warm up of your voice and you're able to go super high. I hit like a normal Haru pitch. I hit like normal Haru range. His average voice. Billy, do it. He's gonna do it. But welcome in, Billy. Get nice and cozy. We're gonna start the reading in like a minute or two. Bedtime for you though. Slaw and live. Good night, last lot. Have a lovely sleep. Make sure you rise bright and early, eager and ready to impart knowledge onto the children, because God, do they need it? Do this generation that are being raised need it? Whoa, what's up? You've been around for so long. A year and 3 months. That's crazy. That's like, oh my god, that's like that has to be one of the first people who followed me. That's definitely back in the first person. Billy came in and said strip. It's a common thing he does. I feel like if some of you were more brave, you'd probably do the same thing. 1 year and 4 months. You can't be one of the first. I feel like you would have been one of the first 100 maybe, somewhere around there. Yeah, see, 1 year and 4 months. I know last lot was kind of quite early as well. And hello, Pip. How you doing? Hello, quack. Quack. Quack, quack. Quack. Are you sure? I don't know. I know subscriptions get like the first 10 subscribers get it. But I don't know. Who knows? But I do think it's really cool. I wonder, is there like a command thing that I can do that allows you to see where you followed? You were affiliated when you first watched. I got affiliation like very quick. I got it in like my second week of streaming or something. But I think that was because I just had like some people. You must save your points for pokes. Oh, that's what you're saying. Am I sure? That, yeah, you know what? Pokes are very important. Pokes are very important. I got affiliation pretty quickly, though, I'm pretty sure. Like at least in my first month. I think it might have been faster, though. You're only on 9k. That's okay, what's up? People must build the points up. I should get like a big one, or like 100,000. And I don't, like, maybe I don't know what I would do. You love the pokes and the head pats. Yeah, Fox, the Rua Fund, the Rua economy, and the Central Bank of Rua thanks you. No, the National Bank of Rua. I'm a national bank, not a central bank. I also enjoy the head pats. They're very sweet. But I think also I'm glad you're doing well. You're just popping in to say hi. Could you say that you're just pipping in? No, you couldn't. That's not the word. You posted it in my memes channel. I hope you attached a troll face alongside it, because that's a high point of memery. Oh, that was a good crack. I will listen to it after stream, though. Fox single-handedly funding the Rua economy, yeah. All those points. I should make one of those. There is like a viewer points thing that you can do. It kind of works, I think. You can have like a little goal. You should get some pokes for free then. Do you guys think that's fair? I do like vouchers, like every 10 pokes get 1 poke free. You haven't even personalized your channel points. I don't know what to call them. I could call them like cows. You know what? I want to call them cows because cows were like a unit of measurement. Remember that, guys? Remember when we were reading about... I could make them Jaffas. Remember when we were reading about Irish history and I talked about how important cows were? It also talked about how like slave women were also currency, but somehow I feel like that might not be a good thing to do. I don't think Twitch would allow that, and I don't think it would be good to have that either. Now, slave men, maybe. Maybe they'd allow that one. But I should personalize them. I should make them slaves as channel points. Perfect idea. He. And thank you, Crespian, for putting back on my cloak. I'm nice and warm now. Away from the prying eyes. In the Iliad, during the funeral games when they're giving out prizes and the guys offer to have like 10 cows, a woman, or a bronze tripod, he takes the tripod. I feel like back then they would have chiseled Chad face, that guy. He's tripod maxing. But I think it is time to get into our reading for tonight. ASMR category, not reading. Yeah, it's ASMR. It's cozy. It's comfy. Like I could do the reading one, but like I don't know. It's hard to say. There's love punches. No, don't punch me. Oh no, wait. WhatsApp was. Oh, you're punching WhatsApp. That's okay. I know. I just view it as ASMR. Like it's you guys can come and listen, or you can fall asleep to it, or you can get cozy. You know, whatever works better. At the title of the reading category being writing and reading and not reading and writing, I have said exactly this, son. What do you mean that's okay? They're love punches. They're lovingly assaulting someone. It's okay then. That's real legal advice. I 100% agree, son. That just writing and reading does not sound good. It does not sound good. It's reading and writing. Reading and writing. That flows way better. But anyway, let's get into a reading for today. I kind of forget where I finished up. And probably that's because I was constantly getting like cut off. But we were looking at Descartes' Path to Truth, and we were walking through his various discussions with people and his notebook and his meditations and many other things. I think I might just start up here because of how kind of choppy it was. So we'll start here. Some scholars have argued that Descartes cannot seriously have believed that divine omnipotence gives rise to radical doubt, because he believes that God is constrained by the law of non-contradiction. The evidence, however, indicates that this interpretation is incorrect. Descartes, for example, argues in a letter to Mercenay of May 27, 1630, that while God's will is eternal, there was no necessity that compelled him to create eternal truths, and therefore they could be different. The possibility of God acting in an external way, in an alternative way, is thus not excluded by the law of non-contradiction. He explains this to Mesland in his letter of May 2nd, 1644, quote, "The power of God can have no limits. God cannot have been determined to make it true that contradictions cannot be together, and consequently he could have done the contrary." You've gotta go? Bye-bye, Pip. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. It's always nice to see you. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. This said, Descartes does not believe that God changes his laws. He writes to Mercenay in April 15, 1630, "Do not be afraid to proclaim everywhere that God established these laws in nature just as a sovereign establishes laws in his kingdom." Thank you for the head pat. "One will tell you that if God established these truths, he would have also be able to change them just as a king changes his laws, to which one should reply that it is possible that his will can change. But I understand these truths as eternal and unvarying in the same way that I judge God. His power is beyond comprehension, and generally we assume ourselves that God can do everything. We are capable of understanding, but not that he cannot do what we are incapable of understanding, for it would be presumptuous to think that our imagination has as much magnitude as his power." Descartes thus claims that God can contravene the laws he has established, including the law of non-contradiction, but that he will not do so. Descartes, however, does not explain why he believes God's will to be unvarying, and calls this claim into question with his assertion of the incomprehensibility of God. If God is truly omnipotent, then the light of reason must be false and apodictic science therefore impossible. There are two traditional answers to the skepticism that Descartes considers and rejects at the end of the path of doubt. The first, which was originally articulated by Augustine in Contra Academicos, sees faith as an answer to skepticism. This is the path of piety, as we have seen. The solution was also employed by Luther, who proclaimed in his debate with Erasmus that the Holy Ghost is not a skeptic. While Descartes does not deny that faith may in some sense be an answer to skepticism, he argues that faith of this sort cannot possibly provide an answer to the skeptical doubts he raises. He notes that it is not contrary to God's goodness to allow him to sometimes be deceived. So it cannot be contrary to his goodness that he always be deceived. Luther's answer in this instance is no more compelling than that of Augustine. Sheer faith in God cannot alleviate these doubts because it is God himself who is the source of these doubts, and the more powerful one imagines God to be, the easier it is to imagine the possibility that he can deceive us. Sorry, I was reciting that from memory. Let me pick up my book. There we go. The second potential answer to this form of doubt is atheism. If there is no God and everything occurs simply by an endless antecedent necessity, it would seem that such radical doubt would be impossible. Descartes suggests that such a materialist notion cannot resolve the problem, because the possibility that we are accidentally constituted in such a way as to be continually deceived by the nature of the world is even greater than the possibility that God deceives us. For Descartes, whether we follow the path of faith that relies on God or the path of experience that depends on man, we cannot provide this foundation for science. The skepticism that bedevils Descartes, both in part 4 of the Discourses and at the end of the first meditation, is resolved by his fundamental principle. He concludes in the discourse that in attempting to think everything false, he recognized that in doing so, he was the one who was thinking this had to be something, and thus articulated his famous principle: I think, therefore I am. Catigo ergo sum. Or contigo ergo sum. This conclusion takes a slightly different form in the Meditations, where he writes that this proposition I am, I exist, is necessarily true whenever No. How dare you? How dare you, Fox? Why do you have so many points just to Facebook me? More of it goes into the Ruadh Trust. My face is going to have indents. It's going to have indents from this woman. Cogito, yes. Cogito ergo sum. Did I say cognito? Did I say, wait, isn't that like a superhero? I think I did say cognito, didn't I? Cogito ergo sum is what I meant to say. I think cognito is a superpower, or is a super villain, or something. Oops, I'm sorry. Fear you. You heard me say cogito. Catigo. I don't even know what that sounds like. That sounds like some Spanish word. My apologies, I messed up. Cogito ergo sum. I do fear you. I am, I exist is necessarily true whenever it is put forward by me or conceived by my mind. Cognito is closer to cogito, but no bingo. How are we to understand this principle? On the surface, it looks as it is the conclusion of a syllogism, but Descartes rejects this notion in the replies. If it were a conclusion of a syllogism, it could not be fundamental, since it would depend on more fundamental premises, and on the principle of non-contradiction. Descartes asserts in the Discourse and later in the Principles that it is a judgment. In the Meditations he calls it a necessary conclusion, by which he means that it is the conclusion of a judgment, the affirmation of a necessary connection. It is, however, a peculiar kind of judgment, for its truth lies not in its logical form, but in its performance. It is not a statement that is true in the abstract. It is only true and can only be recognized as true when it is performed or experienced. Or to put the matter in Kantian terms, it is a synthetic a priori truth. That said, it is not just any synthetic a priori truth. It is rather the I's self-grounding act, its self-creation. Descartes explains the nature of such grounding judgments in the replies. Quote, "We cannot doubt them unless we think of them, but we cannot think of them without at the same time believing that they are true. Hence, we cannot doubt them without at the same time believing that they are true. That is, we can never doubt them." In order to understand the nature of this conclusion, however, we need to examine more fully what Descartes means by thinking and judging. In Helldivers, you fear me. I am perfectly safe. I am perfectly safe. I put the minimum amount of thought I need to into throwing things and shooting at things. Which means I point and I click. Descartes defines thinking in a variety of ways. In the rules, he lists 4 cognitive capacities: understanding, imagination, sensation, and memory. In his later thought, he expands his notion. In the second meditation, he asserts that a thing that thinks is a thing that doubts, understands, affirms, denies, wills, refuses, imagines, and senses. In the third meditation, he characterizes himself as a thinking thing, a res cogitans, who doubts, affirms, denies, knows a few things, is ignorant of many, loves, hates, wills, desires, and also imagines and senses. In the replies, he asserts that thought includes everything we are immediately conscious of, and falls into 4 general categories: will, which includes doubt, affirmation, denial, rejection, love, and hate; understanding, imagination, and sensation. So it's will, understanding, imagination, and sensation. In the principles, he argues that thinking is divided into 2 modes: perception, or the operation of the intellect, which includes sensation, imagination, and the conception of things purely intellectual. Oh, sorry, I read that incorrectly. Is perfectly safe for the automatons, and also for my allies. He offs his teammate so much. Don't expose me. So what if I throw a airstrike, like carpet bombing, right on top of you guys? What really matters is that I killed the one robot that was left after you guys killed everything. You misread that as automobile. I'm perfectly safe for the automobiles. The Autobots. So let me read this properly. In the principles, he argues that thinking is divided into 2 modes. 1. Perception, or the operation of the intellect, which includes sensation, imagination, and the conception of things purely intellectual. And 2. Action of the will, that includes desiring, holding in aversion, affirming, denying, and doubting. Finally, in the passions, he argues similarly that there are 2 basic functions of the soul: its actions and its passions. Only those passions that originate in the body are, in his view, passions, properly speaking. Those that arise in the soul are both actions and passions, and take their name from their nobler, former capacity. It hurts, Ruadh. It's fine. You can just get stitched back together. Autobot. No, hang on. Autobots roll out. I cannot do that voice. That is one of the best voices of all time. That is literally the cinema voice. Autobots roll out. No, I don't have the deepness for it. I don't have the... It's not even like a particularly deep voice. It's not like it's some super deep thing, but yeah, Peter Cullen. It's just such a good voice. Autobots roll out. No, don't cry, Fox. Don't cry. Okay, fine. I'll throw things more at Wolf than you. We saw earlier that judgment for the early Descartes was made possible by the power of the imagination that brought together the schematized images derived from sensation with formalized ideas. In his later thought, the imagination becomes more a screen on which the images are projected. The backside of the brain, or pineal gland. In this sense, it is no longer the active power in judgment. For the mature Descartes, judgment is a combination of two different mental capacities, will and understanding. The latter is more passive than before, and the role of the will much greater. Through will, for example, the understanding becomes active as perception, from percepere, literally, by grasping. Will stimulates the brain to form images and aid understanding, usurping the previous role of imagination. It also displaces intuition as a capacity that summons up the innate ideas. Judgment in this way becomes a determination of will. Thinking for the mature Descartes is thus a form of willing. This becomes particularly apparent when we examine the character of the thinking that established itself as a fundamental being. You need to watch the 2007 Transformers film again. You don't want to watch Shia LaBeouf. Isn't that the movie? Where he has a card explaining? No, isn't that the third one? I think. Well, he has a card explaining why his relationship with an underage girl is actually totally legal under the actual statutes. His lines in the live action series are so good. Oh, there's some really good ones. That's worse. He gets angry. Yeah, well, that's the fun of it. Where would you be? Where would you be without me, Prime? Time to find out. That's Transformers 4. Shia's not in it. Oh, I thought that was a Shia thing. Maybe I haven't watched it in a long time too. I wouldn't mind watching the originals because I remember Bumblebee. He was a cool guy. He beatboxed with his radio. No, it's an Irishman, if you remember correctly. No, why did they do that to the Irishman? Why did they make him carry around that card? I think it's worth the fact that he had a laminated card for that sole purpose. You just... like, who knew that? Let me just ask that question. Who in the writer's room just happened to have that knowledge? And should they be investigated? I think maybe. Descartes' fundamental principle is often understood as self-consciousness or subjectivity. What Descartes means by self-thinking, however, is quite different from the ordinary notion of self-consciousness. Thinking, for Descartes, is clearly reflexive. He writes to Mersenne in July 1641, quote, "I have demonstrated that the soul is nothing more than a thing that thinks. It is impossible, therefore, that we can ever think of anything without having it at the same time, the idea of our soul, as of a thing capable of thinking all that we think about." Imagine getting that as a letter and you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Someone give this guy a thesaurus and show him how to use different words. It's understandable if they were 17, 18 when starting dating, and then you turn 19 and it gets kind of weird. But then they'd be... I totally understand that that's totally fine from a relationship point of view. It's just weird that they did that in the first place. It's just kind of weird that they did that in a movie in the first place. I agree, those types of relationships are totally fine, because especially if you've been dating for a few years, suddenly oh, you're a year older than her. It's silly. There's no need for it at all. Yeah, it's just totally out of place. Descartes, of course, was not the first person to recognize that we can think ourselves. This issue was raised by Plato in his Charmides, and in later Neoplatonic thought as well, in the thought of Augustine. I was going to say, this is sounding very familiar in many ways. These earlier notions of self-consciousness, however, all imagined that the self that consciousness was conscious of was somehow an object like the other objects in the world. That is, that I am aware, conscious of myself in the same way that I am conscious of, say, a chair, or that whenever I have an idea of a chair, I also have alongside it an idea of myself as conscience of the chair. Descartes' notion of the thinking of thinking, however, has little to do with such an idea. Descartes does not think that we are self-conscious because we have ourselves known as our own object. For Descartes, everything that we know is known only when it is perceived, transmitted to the brain, and represented upon the screen of imagination by the will. The sensed object in this way is transformed into a mathematical line or form in a coordinate system, which Descartes refers to as extension. Thus the world only truly is when it is represented rather than sensed or imagined. That is, only when it is factual in a literal sense, as something made or constructed, from the Latin facere, to make. This construction of the world is its representation or objectification. This representation, however, is always a representation for a subject, always only in thinking. Thinking as representing is thus always representing for a subject. The subject is that which is established or thrown under, sub ictum, the object, that is, that which is thrown off or before us, ab ictum. Consequently, the subject is necessarily posited or willed in every act of thinking. Every act of thinking is thus also a self-thinking, or, to put the matter in a later vocabulary, all consciousness is self-consciousness. Descartes' solution to the problem posed by the omnipotent God thus leads to a radically new vision of what it is to be a human being. A human being for Descartes is a thinking thing, a res cogitans. A thinking thing, however, is a representing, constructing thing, and is especially always a self-representing or self-positing thing. The Cartesian human being is thus at its core a self-positing, self-grounding being. Man, in this very way, ceases to be considered the rational animal, and instead is conceived as the willing being. Both humanism and the Reformation, as we have seen, similarly located man's humanity in the will rather than the reason. Descartes is indebted to both, but also moves beyond them. In contrast to humanism, his subject is abstracted from the historical world, and has no personality, no virtues or vices, no concerns with immortal fame. The willing subject, however, is thus not constrained by the finitude of the world, and consequently can imagine becoming its absolute master. Similarly, the subject's will is not subordinate or in conflict with the will of God. The problem that we saw at the heart of Luther's thought and in the debate between Erasmus and Luther thus seems to be, at least on the surface, resolved. The subject's rethinking of thinking as willing. Excuse me. It's very hard to read this at times when it's think, thought, willing, all being said like 50 times in a single sentence. It's like when you read about, oh, wait, hang on, I'm glad I spotted that ads almost started. No ads. Bad ads. So I'm sure this is probably tough to follow. So if you're just like spacing out, listening to me in the background, that's totally fair. This subject's rethinking of thinking as willing is the ground of Descartes' attempt to construct a citadel of reason for human beings against the potentially malevolent omnipotence of God. This is particularly apparent in his formulation of his fundamental principle. The fundamental principle arises at the end of the path of doubt. In Descartes' later accounts of thinking, doubt is classified as a form of the will, but it occupies an unusual place, since all other forms of the will are paired opposites. There's affirming and denying, desiring and holding an aversion. Doubting, in one sense, seems to stand between affirming and denying, but in another sense it looks as if it should be paired with faith or belief, which is perhaps suppressed in Descartes' account because of its controversial place in Reformation debates. In fact, for Descartes, the concealed opposite of doubt is not faith or belief, but rather certainty. Certainty and natural science, therefore, thereby replace faith and theology for Descartes. The attainment of certainty is not an act of the intellect or understanding, but rather an act of the will. Certainty for Descartes arises when we can no longer doubt. That means at the end of the path of doubt. Doubting as a form of willing is thus the means of reaching certainty, the foundation of Descartes' universal science. The heart of Descartes' fundamental principle is the recognition that doubt, as a form of negation, cannot negate itself, that such a negation is in fact a negation of negation and thus a self-affirmation. In this manner, the will constitutes itself as a self, and thus as the foundation, or subictum, upon which everything can be established. To become master of nature, Descartes tells us one must first become master of oneself, by freeing oneself from the illusions of the imagination. We assert our freedom by exercising our will in the form of doubt to avoid being taken in by any of these illusions. Will thereby asserts its superiority and its freedom from both God and his creation. However, as we have seen, such freedom is the freedom of the void. The will as doubt or negation shatters the world into a million pieces, leading Descartes to suppose that he and the world are nothing. Doubt, however, discovers that it can never doubt itself. In freeing itself from this illusion, the will discovers that it cannot will itself away, and in this discovery lays the foundation for its conquest of the natural world. For Descartes doubt thus ends not in skepticism, or in the aphoretic wisdom of Socrates or Montaigne, but in a practical, useful science that makes possible the mastery of science and the alleviation of the human estate. The principle of this new science is thus individual autonomy, that arises out of the self-assertion and self-positing of the human will. The self is therefore not just another object, but the foundation of the representational reconstruction of the world, and the citadel of reason, the great city described at beginning of discourse, is built upon this foundation. Thinking for humanism was also a form of willing, a poetic making and self-making that painted an image of the world. Descartes accepts this humanist notion, but he believes that we cannot rely upon the imagination to bring about such a reconstruction. The truth of the imagination, the artwork and technology rooted in the imagination, presents at best merely probable solutions to a fortuna that remains outside of and apart from the self. Descartes' representational reconstruction of the self and the world rests not upon imagination, but upon an analytic algebra underpinned by a self-certifying self. Descartes' poetic remarking of the world thus produces a world that is no longer a cosmos or a creation independent of man, but a human artifact that comes to be through me, and that can therefore be totally mine. It is as it is only with respect to me. It is proper to me and can therefore become my property. To understand how this change is brought about, however, we need to examine more carefully the manner in which Descartes expropriates this world from its previous owner, that is, from God himself. Descartes' fundamental principle, ergo cogito ergo sum, seems to, on the surface, to guarantee... No, don't Facebook me while I'm reading. Yeah, you poked my nose. Drown check. Thank you, Haru, for the drown check. Thank you for the drown check. Oh, that's cold. That's really cold. That's cold water. I like when it's like cold, like it's like wintry time, you know? And you turn on the tap and like the water's already like near freezing. It's so nice. Most refreshing water. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? That reminds me of Robot Chicken and Star Wars. It's the scene of Prince Palpatine, no, Sith Lord Palpatine, going up the escalator, and like there's storm in the Death Star, so he decides not to take the elevator for reasons, or the tentacle faced guys. He's going up the elevator, and stormtroopers keep passing him. Whenever the stormtroopers pass him, they go, "My lord," and he has to kind of go, "Stormtrooper." And then it keeps happening though. It keeps happening, and he keeps going, "My lord, stormtrooper. My lord, stormtrooper. My lord, stormtrooper. Stormtrooper, 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 stormtrooper." Rah, 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 rah. And it keeps going. It's so good. You guys need to watch the Robot Chicken Star Wars specials. They are literally, unironically, some of the funniest things that has ever been made. The video of the one of bro became Lady Gaga there for a sec. Was I going, is that Lady Gaga? Was that what I was doing? But anyway, at one point, like at the very end of the whole joke, the whole scene, some random robot comes down the escalator going, "What's up?" It's just kind of like random humor at the very end, but it's good. But my favorite one might be the one where Vader calls Palpatine after the destruction of the first Death Star. Like when he got shot and went spinning into space. And like Palpatine is like freaking out, but it's really funny. But it opens with Palpatine talking to two guys, and it's probably my favorite ever bit of dialogue. It's referencing the Palpatine Darth Sidious versus Yoda fight in the prequels, and he just goes, it just opens, "So I threw the Senate at him." I love it so much. It's so funny. And like it's not funny me doing it, but like just the tone, the timing of it, it's so good. "So I threw the Senate at him." I think that's the guy who made Family Guy who's voicing him, actually. I might be wrong on that though. You forgot. Love Lady Gaga. That's good. That's good. I haven't listened to a Lady Gaga song in a long time. I remember Poker Face. I remember she the one that did "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It." Oh no, that was Pink, I think. I don't remember. That was Katy Perry. Yeah, Katy Perry. That's who that was. Why did I think Pink? What? Hang on, wait, let me look something up real quick. Wait, no, Pink is another singer. Pink is another singer. I was right. I thought I just imagined someone. Named Pink. Like I was just having like a schizophrenic episode. But I'm okay. Ruadh being injured from pop is wonderful. No, listen, my shoulders are at me. Tightness. You're a big fan of Judas from Lady Gaga. I do not know music these days. I like the older musics. The like 30s. The 30s. And some of the big band stuff is actually great, I will say. Some of the big band music is fantastic. Adele is pretty good. Skyfall is pretty good. I have to give it up to him. It's crazy they made a whole movie about that song. was I? Wait, here we were. No, that's not where we were. You're an enjoyer of 10s, 20s, and 30s. And wait, what? 10s, 20s, and third. I don't think that's how they say that. Man, my throat's already... I guess I was singing earlier. I was doing some singing earlier, so my throat's still at me. Like singing lessons. I was at my lesson today. Thank you for the hydrate, Crespian. Triple drown. Quadruple drown. Pentadrown. Drown-tacular. Oh god, it's actually a tsunami. Save these people, please. Drown spectac... No, I couldn't think of one. Drownionaire. Isn't that one like Killionaire? Isn't that what they say in Halo? Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. One of the low. Wait, did you guys ever do this thing? You like lift your head up. You kind of look up and you kind of just open your mouth and you kind of just... Yes, you know exactly. Girl, yes. We've had this talk before. I think we have as well. And I'm glad that I'm not insane. That I'm not a strange weirdo. At least not anymore. Not any more than I already am. Oh, we're almost finished this chapter. Cool. Descartes' fundamental principle, ego cogito ergo sum, seems on the surface to guarantee only the existence of a self that thinks. Descartes' claim, however, that is the key to establishing the certainty of the universal science, the Archimedean point from which he will be able to move the world. How does the fundamental principle, the self-creating I, guarantee the certainty of science and thus makes possible the mastery and appropriation of science? You are pretty strange. I'm perfectly normal. Don't be mean to me. Don't bully me. You guys are being mean. Would you guys bully? Like, look, you're gonna make Ruadh, little Ruru, cry. You're gonna make little Ruru cry, like you're making me cry because you call me mean. You call me mean words. I always love the little whiplash between me putting on that voice. Well, that's my real voice, don't you know? This is my put on voice, and then going back to reading. Gonna make Wooa cry. Oh, ooh, I miss Kwai. Ooh. Ruru's asleep. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. That's so fucked up. You're gonna bully me and then pretend and then like stop me from telling Ruru so that I don't upset him. That's so mean. Rua? You mean rutabaga? Isn't that like a fruit? Like a what? Rutabaga. Yeah, that's a vegetable. I don't want to be a rutabaga. I don't want to be turned into like a stew. I don't want to be turned into a turnip-looking thing. They look like little people. If they had arms and legs, they have like a little head. You'd rather upset little Ruru. I don't want Ruru to be upset. Poor Woo. Poor little Woo. Poor Woo. You guys are so mean. I'm going to Kwai weed. Modernity. Yes, modernity is watching a VTuber cry because his chat is bullying him. That is the essence of modernity. That is why Descartes did all of this. But welcome in, Ample Osaurus. Thank you for the first time chat. It's nice to meet you. How you doing? How you doing? Cry. No, I'm not gonna cry on stream. Shish. But yeah, we're reading a book about the theological origins of modernity. It's a lot of fun. That storybook. What storybook is this? Oh no, this isn't a storybook. This is like a philosophy/history book. Very interesting in my opinion. Although right now we're into some pretty heavy philosophy, and it can be very difficult to follow. This is the type of section that you would read like 4 or 5 times. Very high IQ. See, you pretend to be high IQ by listening to what other high IQ people say, and then you just parrot it back. You're like, oh, it's so smart. This is my magical book for magic. This is my magic book. This is the book that I can do magic out of. I also can just do magic. But this is my book of endless insight. This is my book of endless insight. It contains every book that I know of. I need to find the book and learn of the book beforehand. Very skivvy. Don't say these words. Don't say these words. Hey, Ruadh. Hi, Tallies. How you doing? How's the philosophy coming? It's getting quite heavy, I must say. Thank you for the head pat. It's getting quite heavy. They're repeating the word thinking and self-creating and... Thank you, lazy taco _rat. I love that name. It makes me think of a rat that's just like curled up in a taco and is falling asleep. But it's just repeat. You know, Tallies. You know, we're still in Descartes. We're almost done. I didn't get a whole lot of reading done last stream. Let's be fair. More nature-based magic. Yeah. I'm very nature-y based. Look at my cloak. It has antlers, and I have antlers. Yeah, that's what you're going for. I imagine he's curled up and he's like chewing on a little bit of cheese, and maybe he even has some cheese sprinkled on top of him. He's not going to be eaten though. He's a comfy rat. You have his discourse on method and meditations on first philosophy right here. You came prepared. Dude, the author is repeating the word think, thinking, self-thinking, imagination like 50 times a sentence. Help me, Tallies. But let's get back to it. I think it can make reading it like aloud quite tricky, because sometimes it's like I think it's the next section of a sentence, I guess, but it's like it's still kind of contained. It's still like this statement, if that makes sense. Have you ever read his letter to Sorbonne that he prefaces his meditations with? I have not. I actually haven't read much Descartes, I must say. I've read bits and pieces, but not proper. My apologies, I think is what I was trying to say. You gotta go, knee guys. Bye bye, lazy taco rat. May you bring joy and bubonic plague seasoned tacos to others. It challenges a lot of assumptions Thomas go into his writings with. Ooh, sounds fun. I'll have to give it a proper read then. Hope I didn't scare him away. No, you didn't. You will, don't worry, I'm good to hear it. I don't think you did. I think it might be time to eat. Bye bye, I hope to see you soon. But let's get back to our readings. How does a fundamental principle, the self-creating I, guarantee the certainty of science and make possible the mastery and appropriation of nature? According to Descartes, the fundamental principle is not only true, it is a standard of all other truth. That is to say, for any other judgment to be true, it must be as clear and as evident as the fundamental principle. On the surface, it is difficult to see how other judgments could attain such clarity and evidence. If you look a bit deeper, however, it becomes clear that Other judgments can be true only if they are derived from or rest on this principle. The truth of Cartesian science depends on the truth of mathematics, and the truth of mathematics is called into question only by the possibility of an omnipotent deceiver. Therefore, it is possible to show on the basis of Descartes' fundamental principle that there cannot be such a deceiver, the truth of mathematics. Say, if it is possible that there cannot be such a deceiver, the truth of mathematics will be irrefutable, and the apodictic character of Cartesian science will be guaranteed. To be sure, physics will depend upon the actual, as opposed to the possible existence of objects, but this existence can be methodologically verified. Thus, the only other truth that has to be as clear and distinct as the fundamental principle is that God is not a deceiver. But how is it possible to demonstrate on the basis of the fundamental principle that God is not a deceiver? Or to put the matter in a somewhat different terms, how is it possible to tame the irrational God of nominalism and the Reformation, and demonstrate that he neither is nor can be a deceiver? The demonstration of this point, Descartes' so-called ontological argument, is perhaps the most controversial element of Cartesian philosophy. The customary interpretation of this argument reads it against the background of scholasticism. The ontological argument in its classical form was first presented by Anselm in his Monologium, and later repeated by Aquinas at the beginning of the Summa, in his discussion of the various proofs of God's existence. It is probably from this source that Descartes knew it. The argument depends on the scholastic distinction between levels of being and reality. Substance, or being, according to this account, has more reality than accidents, and infinite being has more reality than finite being. God thus is more real than things, and things more real than accidents, such as colours. Descartes employs this argument, but gives it a peculiar twist. When I look into myself, I find an idea of perfection. But because I have come to understand myself as a finite being who can be deceived, I recognize that I am not perfect, and that the idea of perfection cannot come from me. This idea, however, must come from somewhere, and that somewhere is God. God must be the cause of this idea. God therefore exists and is perfect. This kind of feels like a form of the transcendental argument. Isn't this basically the transcendental arguments, that there are these things, beauty, perfection? Well, beauty, I think, is often one that's kind of like, they don't like, some don't like characterizing it with, but the general, like, divine attributes. God must therefore be the cause of this idea. He exists and is perfect. The idea of God, according to Descartes, is thus innate in us and follows from the fundamental principle. If, however, God is perfect, then he never deceives us, because all deception is a result of some lack. Consequently, God is not a deceiver. And if God is not a deceiver, the truths of mathematics are certain. Moreover, God has also led me to believe in the existence of external objects, and because he is not a deceiver, there must be a correspondence between the objects and what is real, or at least it must be possible for me to come to terms and come to understand the relationship between them through the proper use of my faculties. As a result, not merely mathematical but physics must be possible. God thus guarantees the truth of clear and distinct ideas, and belief in God is thus necessary for science. But God himself is guaranteed by the certainty of the fundamental principle. As convincing as this traditional interpretation of Descartes' ontological argument is, Jean-Luc Marion, and I believe you mentioned this person, Thalys. I think you were gone by the time they came up, but like they were mentioned in a prior page, and I was like, oh, I like did that like click and point at the TV thing. Jean-Luc Marion has given us reasons to doubt that this story can be as straightforward as this account suggests. In particular, he has pointed out the apparent inconsistency of Descartes' definition of God. In the third meditation, he is called infinite. In the fifth, he is called a perfect being. And in the first and fourth replies, he is characterized as a causi sui. If he is infinite, God must be beyond reason and therefore a potential deceiver. If he is perfect, though, he cannot be. And if he is a causa sui, he is subordinate to the laws of reason. Because of the Transformers earlier, all you can think of is Tia, Transformers 5, and the Knights of Cybertron called Quintessa, the Great Deceiver. I can't even remember if I watched up to the Great Deceiver. Or sorry, Transformers 5. I feel like I stopped after the third one. I might have watched the fourth one like once. I must have watched it once. But I think it kind of fell off after that. I watched Transformers 1 recently, actually. That was a lot of fun. That was really fun. Really well animated, too. I loved the look of it. That's a good movie. It is. It is. Hello, unerring Harrington. No, I added the ton at the end because for some reason I was like Harrington. But hello, unerring herring. I like names like that. I like people have such creative names. They're so cool. TF3 is the best Transformers movie. It's so good. I'm gonna have to watch the Transformers trilogy again. Where were we? Oh, yeah. This suggests that the traditional reading of the ontological argument cannot capture the richness of Descartes' account. The traditional view of this argument, at least in this case, seems to be a description of the mask that Descartes puts on to make his science more palatable to the orthodox. The fact that Descartes disguises his true opinions, however, does not mean that he is really an atheist, as a number of scholars have suggested. Rather, it suggests that his understanding of God is more complicated and unorthodox than is traditionally believed. You're a massive Transformers nerd? Maybe we should do a Discord watch-along of the Transformers movies. That could be fun. I've never done a watch-along. Or a Discord watch-along. In fact, Descartes' understanding of God, and thus the ontological argument that he uses to demonstrate God's existence, depends on a new understanding of infinity that is radically different from anything that preceded it, and that is essential to the formation of the mathematics that is at the foundation of modern science in the modern world. Moreover, this new notion of the infinite makes it possible to reconcile the three different definitions of God that Marian describes. To understand this, we must return again to Anselm's classical formulation of the ontological argument. When Anselm says that God is infinite, he is asserting that God is fundamentally mysterious, for, following Aristotle, he believes that the infinite is incomprehensible. When Descartes describes God as infinite, however, he is asserting that he can be understood. This is a remarkable claim. Even Bonaventure, who understood the difference between the finite and infinite with great clarity, does not believe that God can be understood in this way. Descartes can understand God in this way because he has already defined him as a substance different only in quantity from other beings. Different in only quantity. The infinite for the ancients, and for scholasticism, was regarded as the negation of the finite, and therefore as something that does not exist, or is not comprehensible in its own right. In ascribing the term to God, Christianity was simply asserting that he was incalculably greater and radically different than all other beings. Drawing upon his work in geometry, Descartes believed it was possible to formulate a positive view of the infinite, that was not merely a negative but also a positive path to understanding God. In fact, Descartes suggests that the tradition had it exactly wrong. The infinite is not the negation of the finite. Rather, the finite is a negation of the infinite. He adopts as his model here an infinite sequence, not an infinite sequence, but an unbounded figure. If we think of God's infinity as an unbounded plane extending in every direction, then all finite beings are only negations of this infinity, bounded figures inscribed upon this plane. In his view, we can thus understand God in the same way we understand an infinite figure. Consequently, we do not merely have an idea of God by negation or by summation, but as a whole at one time. Now, it might be objected that what Descartes here is actually doing is simply identifying God with the infinite. He tries to defend himself against this charge, claiming that the idea of the infinite is an imperfect model for God, since God is infinite in every respect, infinitely infinite. Descartes thus wants to reserve the term infinite for God and to call other infinite things indefinite. This, however, is not a real distinction, for Descartes concludes that while we therefore cannot understand God perfectly on the model of an infinite figure, we can understand him as clearly and distinctly as a limitless figure can be understood. I have another sip of water. But yeah, I think a watch along could be a lot of fun. Since God is infinite, he cannot be imagined, but he can be conceived, which is to say that we do have an idea of God. Indeed, Descartes claims that the knowledge of our own existence includes the idea of God. What he seems to mean by this is that the recognition of the self in the fundamental principle, is a recognition of its own limitation. That is, the recognition that I am a finite being. This recognition is, however, at the same time the recognition of the unlimited, that is, of the will itself. And this unlimited will is God. We are only a limitation of the unlimited, finite figures inscribed upon an infinite plane, negations of this infinite whole that is God. But in what sense is this notion of God included in the fundamental principle? The answer to this follows from our earlier examination of thinking. That we saw that thinking at its core was will, and the self wills itself in the act of thinking, the fundamental principle. It thus follows that in the same act that I will myself to be, I will God to be God. This God that I will, however, is not the omnipotent and potentially malevolent God of nominalism that produced such fear and uncertainty, nor is he Luther's hidden or revealed God. In fact, this God cannot be a deceiver because he is not aware of himself, and therefore not aware of the difference between him and I. This is an important implication of Descartes' argument, but it is not immediately clear without some additional explanation. For Descartes, I come to recognize myself as limited and distinct at the end of the path of doubt, in becoming self-conscious, in positing myself as a finite being. I recognize myself as distinct from other beings, as needy, as imperfect. God, however, comes to no such realization. He is not finite, and thus cannot be conscious of himself, because his will is never impeded, never limited by what it is not. God thus cannot distinguish himself from all that is. As a result, he cannot be a deceiver. And if God is not a deceiver, then Descartes' universal science is secure. You prefer beliefs to deities. Oh, I see. You mean like gods, authority figures, nature, sprites, and beliefs. I see. It's sort of like a belief in sort of a sanctity of nature, a spiritualism without a defined deity. Descartes in this way tames the anomalous God by reducing him to pure intellectual substance. This was already clear in the little notebook where he asserts that God is pure intelligence. God's intelligence, however, in Descartes' mature thought is equivalent to his will. As pure intelligence, God is pure will. As infinite, God's will is not directed to anything specific. It is causality as such. God is the causa sui because he is pure causality, the mechanism at the heart of a mechanical world, a how and not a what. Looking backwards, we could say that he is fortuna, or forward, the source of motion of all matter. The goal of Cartesian science is to master nature, or more correctly, to master this motion and this causality at the heart of nature. Put in somewhat different terms, the goal of his science is to comprehend and master God. Descartes' science achieves this end by reconstructing the chaos of the world in representation, by transforming the flux of experience into the motion of objects in a mathematically analyzable space. The omnipotent God of nominalism and the Reformation is thus unable to enter into Descartes' rationalized universe, unless he gives up his absolute will and lives according to the powers that Descartes ordains. Thank you for the follow. Where were we? The omnipotent God of nominal... Oh, we read this. He is dispossessed of his absolute power in his world, which falls increasingly under the hegemony of the scientific ego. In this reading, Descartes' proof of God's existence is a proof of God's omnipotence. Sorry, not omnipotence, impotence. Or at least of his irrelevance for human affairs. As Descartes puts it, whether or not God exists, nature operates in much the same way, and in either case we must use the same mathematical means to understand it. But how can man compete with God for the mastery of appearances and possession of the world? The answer to this is fairly clear. Man can only compete with God if man himself is in some sense omnipotent. That is, if man is in some sense already God. The key to understanding this titanic claim that lies at the heart of Descartes' thought is understanding that for Descartes, both God and man are essentially willing beings. Descartes tells us that the human will is the same as the will of God. In his view, it is infinite, indifferent, and perfectly free. Not subordinate to reason or any other law or rule. It is consequently the sole basis of human perfection. The difference between God and man, Descartes suggests, lies not in their wills, which are identical, but in their knowledge. Man's will is infinite. He wants everything, and his desires are insatiable. But his knowledge is finite. His power is thus limited by his knowledge. In contrast to Kant, who would face a similar disjunction, Descartes does not counsel the restraint and accommodation of the will to the limits of the understanding, in large part because he believes that the limits of understanding are not given but are rather the consequence of a past misapplication of the will. What is crucial for Descartes is the rational application of the will to the mastery of nature. Descartes believes that his methods and mathesis universalis will make this possible. Humans are therefore godlike, but they are not yet God. To become God, to master nature utterly and dispossess God entirely, one needs Cartesian science. This finally is the answer to the problem with which God began his philosophizing. If the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, then wisdom is the means by which the Lord is captured, disarmed, dispossessed, and subsumed within the citadel of reason. If God is understood in this manner, Descartes believes that religious conflict will disappear. The reason for this becomes clear when we reflect on Descartes' account of his dream in Olympica. God and religion derive their power over human beings from the natural human fear that they will be punished for their sins, not just their public sins, but their secret sins, those hidden in the depths of their souls, perhaps even from themselves. The fear of punishment for these sins is like a great wind or an evil spirit that whirls us about and drives us towards the church and away from our secular communities or friends. Luther is an obvious example of the power of such fears in the wars of religion. No, don't poke me. Ugh. What is the schedule you work with? Unfortunately, need to head to bed. I don't have much of a schedule, I must admit. But often, if I am streaming, I'm streaming around this time. I'm streaming kind of around 10, half 9 p.m. Irish time to around midnight Irish time, or if it's a weekend, usually a little bit later. So yeah, that's kind of my usual style. GMT. Sleep well, Ampello. Yes, sleep well. Have a lovely sleep. Have sweet dreams. It was lovely to meet you, Ampelsaurus. Ampelosaurus. Good night, all dino heart. Cute. The spirit of truth manifested in Cartesian science clears our mind of the terrifying illusions of the imagination that gives force to these fears. Freed from these illusions, we can then understand the path we follow in life. We should follow a path that is humanistic in its development, but that is finally rooted in the mathematical representation and appropriation of nature. At the end of this process, we will no longer be governed by that fear of, by that fear of God, but only by good sense, especially when it is used, as he tells Princess Elizabeth in a letter of 1646, by a prince guided by a nearly divine will guaranteeing the rights of thinking subjects. Indeed, Descartes seems to suggest that with the spread of his method, good sense will come to predominate in human beings. As a result, they will agree to form such a regime. The generally liberal consequence of his sciences were not something that Descartes could bruit. Bruit. B-R-U-I-T. I've never heard that word before, even though I read this book, so clearly I forgot it. Bruit. Definition. Spread. I see. Bruit. Spread. A report or rumor. Interesting. Could brew it about with impunity. Indeed, he only began to reveal these consequences later in life, when he had a more powerful friend base and protectors. Sadly, however, even his fame and his friends were unable to keep him safe from harm. The outbreak of the Fronde in France, and the attacks levied against him by Voetius and others in Holland were the principal reasons Descartes decided reluctantly to move to Sweden and accept the protection of Queen Christiana. The Queen demanded that Descartes tutor her every winter morning before dawn, and with a repeated exposure to the frigid weather in an unheated coach, his health deteriorated rapidly, and he died. Descartes was able, in the end, to resolve this fear of the Lord with his completed wisdom. The price he had to pay for this, however, was high. In part, like Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, he could only achieve this goal by abandoning traditional religious beliefs and following what began at least to be as a hermetic path. But this was not the greatest danger. The God that Descartes first imagined and feared was a titanic God, beyond reason and nature, beyond good and evil. Descartes won his struggle with this fearsome God only by taking this God's power upon himself. He thereby opened up the hope and aspiration for human omnipotence, a hope that has manifested itself repeatedly in monstrous form. That ends that chapter, and I will admit that was quite a heavy chapter. Some heavy philosophy going into the cogito ergo sum and kind of its consequences. Rabbit, you're shaking her. You're picking her up like Finding Nemo. But Finding Nemo. You're picking her up like Nemo in the plastic bag and shaking him really hard around and around and around. No wonder she's rabid. We're not going to put her down, though. We're not going to put her down. That would be mean. We'll just put her in a box for a little while and she'll calm down. And be careful, Wad's up. I'll put you in the plastic bag. I'll put you in the plastic bag and shake you. No, we continue to shake her. No! I need to put... I need a big plastic bag right now. And a lot of water. Not with her. I'm gonna put you both in the bag. I'm gonna shake you both in the bag. I'm gonna put you in a machine that just shakes things. She'll riddle with you? What does that mean? What does riddling with you mean? Is Haru the riddler? Will she go up and go, "Nyah, tell me what's up. What's brown and sticky all over? A stick, ha!" And then I was going to say she steals off into the night, but she's in a plastic bag, so she would just, she'd get stuck. You'll get tomorrow riddled and riddle with your insides. Oh, wait, yeah, I remember you were going to riddle with his insides because he's weird. You thought the answer was shat. No, that's the joke. That's the joke. You think of that. You think of that, and then you think of stick. And then you realize, oh, it's brown and sticky. Stick-y. Get your mind out of the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter, Haru. But yeah, that's the end of this chapter. That's the end of this chapter, which is great. It's great to finally be finished this chapter. And now we move on to Hobbes' fearful wisdom. So we'll be getting into Thomas Hobbes, who is, for many, sort of like the... Many people look at Descartes, but also like the social contractarians is kind of like the beginning of liberalism as a political force, I suppose. Thomas Hobbes, though, is like the proper one, but many people see John Locke, sorry, that's who I was thinking of, John Locke, as sort of like the start of liberalism, I guess. But really, really politically, it probably is Hobbes, at least like philosophically, politically. But you'll see this next section. I read Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan. That was actually the first ever like philosophy and political book that I ever read. And there was so much obviously that went straight over my head back then. John Locke from Lost? No, not from Lost. This guy was an English philosopher. He had many ideas. One of them, I'm pretty sure, was the blank slate idea. What a dummy. But I remember reading this book, and I remember being astounded by how much Hobbes's fearful vision made sense at this stage. It's quite a long chapter, I'm sure. It's just under 50 pages. So this is going to take at least 10 streams. At least 10 streams. I think we're coming close to the end of the book. Not really to the end of the book. There's still like another 80 or so pages. Another 80 or so pages, but it's okay. There's no wit. There's no width. Now you ate it. Huh? I'm so confused. I look back and they're just like killing each other and stabbing each other and riddling each other. I like this emote. This emote is great. Feral. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna stretch for a moment. Ugh. My feet. They actually don't hurt. I was about to say my feet can hurt, but they're not actually that tired. I did a little bit of walking today. I hate when I'm trying to like sit closer to my desk and the chair just does not move. You tried to say Tom Riddle, but it autocorrect changed it to tomorrow riddled with. Ayo feet. No, don't just because I mention feet. Fine, here. Look. See? No, wait, I'm stabbing little Ruru. I'm sorry. I stabbed him with my sword. Don't you wake up, by the way. Don't you wake up and look up there. See? Feet fix. No. Don't react like this. He's killing woo woo woo. No, he's fine. Don't you post a licking. Don't you use a licking emote. That's terrible. No, see, I have the sword. You come close to me. You guys come close to me. I'm gonna use this sword on you. I'm gonna like cut it. I'm gonna swing it sideways so it cuts off your tongues. Why are you guys reacting like this? No. You're just cleaning it, dude. You're my maid. No, that's the worst justification. That's above and beyond what I pay you for, and I don't pay you that much. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do any of that, please. Don't clean it. It'll just make me. I'll be like, you know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be ticklish, and I'm gonna kick out, and I'm gonna kick you in the face. That's what's gonna happen if you try and lick my feet. Haru doesn't get paid. She gets paid a pittance. Every now and again, she gets a raise of like $2. Wait, no, $2 is way too much. Well, that's what's gonna happen. You guys are gonna like try and lick me. Your tongue is gonna touch my big toe, and then I'm gonna go bang, right in the face, right in the nose. $1 per month. Those dolls you make are pretty cool. They're also a little bit freaky. They're a little bit. I feel like if I like walked into a house full of them, they'd chase me. They'd go after me. Moolah. Money, money. Money, 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 money. As they're expensive, and they're not even the original ones. That one Haru sent into the server was so pretty. Yeah, they're very pretty. You have another one coming? Ooh. Haru, would you ever... Wait, if they're expensive, I shouldn't just ask you this. If I helped you, would you make a Rua? Would you make a Rua doll? A little Ruru doll? I think that would be cute. He's in transit. Oh no, they stuffed him into a box. I hope he has enough. I hope he has enough oxygen. Like, they just put this doll into a box and they put a bunch of foam and stuff in it. He's just sitting there, like, counting down the hours, hoping he doesn't die. Your watch is gonna come before it, Hera. Oh, you know, I saw a thing earlier. Apparently, someone in Ireland, their GPU. Apparently, I didn't know this because I never had it happen, but I think if you buy expensive stuff, you get given a code for Amazon for you to like use and type in when Amazon delivers to the door. I've never had this happen, even though I've bought expensive things. But he bought a GPU for like €1,300. And he got a call from the delivery driver asking for the code. Now, apparently you are not meant to give the code out over the phone. You're meant to do it at the door. So it's kind of oopsies. But the kid, apparently he did not know this. He gave the code, and then it was shown as delivered. And then it was never delivered. The delivery man stole it. It only happened recently, so I do hope he gets justice. I would be figuring out who this delivery driver is. You're gonna die of asphyxiation. Oh, the doll's gonna die of asphyxiation. Oh no. Maybe in a year or two when you get enough funds. I will help fund it a little bit. I'll put a little bit of money away. I'll put it into a savings account. Maybe we'll get a loan. We'll get the best doll possibly. We'll get a mortgage. And we'll build a giant human life-sized Rua doll. That's way too detailed. Hello, Haley. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Peek. Are you peeking? Are you doing a little peek around the corner? I totally have one. I have nude peek. What? Oh, noodle peek. I thought that said nude peek. I must warn you, the OGs are very expensive. Okay, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Maybe I should put that money towards something more useful. Like a GPU. You're peeking from under your blanket? Aw, cute. That's nice and cozy. You thought it was a... No. But this is you right now. This is you right now, Haley. Nice and cozy and cute. You're not cute. Well, no, don't like describe doing cute things and then try and say you're not cute. Maybe when you learn to 3D sculpt and get a printer though. Hell yeah. That would be really cool. I as a gremlin. Be a cute gremlin. Jay's emotes are so good. Shu Sakurai does such good work with his stuff. I really like his peak emote is very cute. As his just like a high one, he's just like hello. are great. They really are. He's a very talented artist. Very, very talented. You love the little nod emote. That is very good. That's very good. The, I use that sometimes. He has a few other ones like that. That's not nodding. That's getting spit all over me, Haru. Get away from me. Your last chat didn't send. Let me check. Oh no, it didn't. Yeah, there's nothing even there about the. There's nothing even there about automod. Maybe just your connection timed out for a sec. Maybe. That's annoying. Oi, automod, be better. Or Twitch. No, automod. I'm sorry. I was. Oh, you said you were gonna be a cute Neko. Yeah, Nekos are cute. Be a cute Neko. But I think I do apologize, Haley. You came in kind of near the very end of the stream. So I think I'm going to raid into someone. Wow, I just saw someone that looked up. Thank you for the head pat. Thank you for the head pat, Crespian. Make someone mod so they can beat up Moto mod for you. I've been thinking maybe I should get a mod at some point. Maybe I should get a mod. And I know Haru's a very... Oh, Pip. Now Pip's attacking me. Dodge the Pip. No, Pip is actually very accurate. Hitting the nose a lot. Me is sad now. I'm sorry, Haley. I'm sorry. Rua's got a Neko form. I do got a Neko form. But I'm going to tell you. I tell you right now, Haru, you're going to waste it. You're going to waste it because I'm getting ready to leave. I'm getting ready to go to bed. You was busy earlier. It's okay. You don't have to come. And Pip's back as well. Everyone's returning. And Dee's here as I'm getting ready to end. No, I'm so sad. Okay, I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer. Because all my friends are showing up. Is there a Discord? There is a Discord. Hang on. Discord. And remember to follow me on the Twitter. And Zantu, why is everyone coming along now? This is prime friend time. Yeah, but like then I have to be social. Let me skulk back into my cave. You'll join Discord server? Hell yeah. Recently my Discord server has been super active, and I think it's because of like 3 people. Now we can't leave since you've all returned. Yeah, you guys are blocking the door. You're blocking the door and you're not leaving me leave. You joined, but your display name is tacky. Just wanted to tell you. No worries. I will wave hi to you when I end stream and I check into the Discord. Half of it was you and Pip fighting. It really was. Or Pip beating you and killing you. I didn't really know. I kind of was just lost. Yeah, I woke up I think it was 2 days ago. And look, my Discord server isn't that active most of the time. I usually does like a little bit of chatting. I woke up, I looked at my phone, and there was 200 plus messages. And I kind of just went like this. I was like, oh no, what's going on? What's happening? And then it was like 150 gifs of violence and choking and beating and punching and kicking, and also like hugs and cute things. I don't know. It was very strange. But D, how's my favorite angel girl doing? How you doing? We actually mentioned you. I mentioned you earlier in a stream. I think it was last stream. Yeah, I was talking about how we were talking about like Twitch guidelines and stuff, like with the hips and things. But then I also mentioned that they came after the underboob, and you had to edit your laying down art. The little kind of, yeah, it kind of is a PNG, isn't it? When you're doing art and things, you had to you had to edit that and cover up because Jeff Bezos was like, no, the heat is gone and you can finally live. I'm glad that you are now living and you're not dead. You're not dead from the heat. To be fair, I would die from your heat too. If I had to deal with Australian summer, I would probably melt into a puddle. I would be like Billy and I would melt into just death. He hates underboob. What a disaster. He's jealous because he's got no underboob. I don't know. Isn't Jeff Bezos pretty ripped? Isn't he actually like pretty strong? You know, if you are a billionaire, then surely to God you can get the best medical science possible and like dedicate a little bit of time to getting ripped. So that's fair. Your cat laid down beside you. Cute. You're comfy now, yeah. When my dog lies down, I'm gonna go look after the dog, the family dog, tomorrow. So no stream tomorrow, but I will be cuddling. Your PNG tuba got nerfed. It did. It got nerfed. Not into oblivion. It's still a very nice image, but like it's just, I was thinking. Do you know Axia? Axia was a Niji Sanji streamer, and he had a chest window, kind of high up. I was always thinking, whenever I saw him, I always pictured like just kind of reaching in and putting my hand in the window, grabbing his it was a skin tight suit, I'm pretty sure, but like grabbing, pulling out, and hand into the chest window. But I wonder if a guy did an underboob window and he had like a big strong chest, would he get in trouble? I don't think so. I think it would be allowed. It's mean. Hating tasteful underboob is a reflection of someone's moral character. Exactly. You hate two cats? Wads up. You hate cats? That's terrible. Terrible. Cancel him. I expect to see at least 20,000 Twitter followers attacking WhatsApp in at least like 50 threads going through his entire life history. Swind cat pics? Is there cat pics? Dog? Oh, that means send. I was like, what the fuck does swind mean? I will send dog pictures. I will send pictures. Kitty pics have been sent. Be careful. Don't show like revealing images of yourself like that can dox you, please. I would rather that not happen in my Discord. But if you want to post image of kitty or doggy, do. And if you want to post image of your pet cockatoo, please do as well. And if you want to post images of your pet giraffe, let me ride it. I want to ride a giraffe. That seems cool. None of your face. That's good. Send tomorrow riddled wit to his house. Stop with this fucking tomorrow riddled wit. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. You're holding back a joke so badly. Onyo. But yeah, I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll probably stream Friday, maybe, depending on how tired I am, because I may be very tired. It's the end of the week. No, you kind of have to stream on Friday. Maybe I won't stream Thursday. No, I'm not streaming Thursday anyway. I don't know. I'll see. I'll work something out. But we might do. You go get a drink, get a nice tasty. Hydrate. Make sure you hydrate. It's very important. As Haru tells me, go drown. You're not saying it here, Haru. You guys will say like bye, love you all. Haley, I might be over soon, because I do actually need to go to sleep soon. What's hydrating? Oh no. You'll DM it. Sounds good. You guys will talk about trying to lick my feet. You guys will talk about trying to lick my feet, and you won't just say a joke. But I assume it might be a risque joke, so it's okay. I will judge you very harshly for it. Not really. No, no, not at all. Unless it's a bad joke, then I'll judge you. If it's like a poor joke, like not poor taste, but just like a bad joke. Ew. Yeah, they're weird. They're weird, Pip. They talk about strange things. No, don't post the shoe licking. This is the reason why you slammed into the wall. He deserves it. Slam him into the wall again. You and Haru match each other's freak. Haru matches freak with many people in chat. Haru matches freak with many people in chat. It's like if D shows up, they're like, hi, to each other, and then they talk about men. They're like man walls or something. Or no, I think it's the gachas. Then if my mama shows up, she also matches freak, talking about Zhongli. Oh, by the way, I still have that there. I had that on the start of stream. Love hot men. Love mama. Well, she did create a hot man, I suppose. What's this? Oh, it's Zuki. I just have a load of images. Big Dong Zhong. Big Dong Zhong. He knocked that man out with his dong. Very powerful. Haru has good taste. It seems to be. Well, of course she has good taste. She's watching my stream. That was good, huh? That was, you guys, I'm like a stream. I can be entertaining as a streamer. See? Laugh. Haru loves Kim Dokja. Kim Dokja. No, Claire, don't address me. Whoa. No, Claire, don't stop. I'm gonna get cold. It's cold. I'm gonna get cold. Why you guys oh my godding? Soleil? You just made me... Don't stop. Don't. No, I said stop. Time for inspection. No. No. Don't inspect me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Get away from me. Yep. Okay. Okay, I'm happy now. I'm happy now. Need fully naked? I don't think Twitch would allow that one. I apologize, Haru. I need to get on to Toede about that art, though. I need to get on to Toede about that art. Trust me, I think I'm going to be honest, it's almost a little too self-indulgent, and I didn't even tell him to be self-indulgent when he was drawing it. I think it's just the way he drew it. On Toede. Yeah, that's how you know it's going to be good. That's how you know it's going to be good. Toede gonna it's I can't talk about it on the stream. I can't talk about that kind of thing on stream. It is. But anyway, I do need to get to bed. I need to be up early, unfortunately. So I'm going to send you guys off somewhere. Who will I send you to? Who will I send you to? Maybe we send you to... Oh, we're gonna send you guys to this girl. A Momochimio. She's very cute looking. I think she's Chinese, I think it says. Yeah, Chinese. That's so cute. I love the ears. The ears are very cute. I think she's a moose. I think she's a mouse. Ooh, she's doing wah wah wah. Wah wah wah. Wah wah wah. It's very nice. So bye bye guys. Sweet dreams. Woo. Sweet dreams to all of you guys. Even if you're awake right now, I want you to fall asleep. I want you to hit the hay. What, you're driving? Too bad. You're going to sleep. Bang. End their fantasy. Men. Men. You guys are just saying men. Sleep well, boss. You'll take my feet pics. Okay, as long as I get 40%. Anyway, bye. Garev Milamahagut and Slong Gafol, and I will see you guys next stream.